Hello everyone, I am CoolGuy, and today is the first episode of my Destiny 2 Crucible Tips series. The topic is game sense, and with the series the goal is to become a more complete player. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're still learning, games are more enjoyable when you're doing well in them, and I hope this series can help players. I believe in the past it has helped players in Destiny 1, and if you're very good at the game, it doesn't hurt to be reminded a little bit and kind of cement your skills. With this series that I started in D1, most of the things that we talked about, it's geared towards first-person shooters in general. The things we talk about can be applied to other games. Universal tips, and some are geared specifically towards Destiny, and some concepts you can apply in situations in other games. And I wanted to start the series off with game sense, and let's go ahead and define that. It's a term used in gaming with a lot of variables that go into it. Some variables are universal, like we said, some are more game specific. When you watch your favorite players in Destiny, Fortnite, and other games making plays, you sometimes ask, how did they know that, or how did they do that? Ultimately, game sense is prediction and situational awareness. It's something that you can work on. And defined situational awareness is going to be the perception of environmental elements and events with respect to time or space, the comprehension of their meaning, and the projection of their status after some variable has changed. It's processing information that's right there in front of you. And I've said this before, when you practice, you need to practice with purpose. You need to get off your autopilot. And I use that term autopilot because sometimes when we play games, we just play. That's fine and all, but taking your game to another level, if you really want to take your game to the next level, you're going to have to work at it. High-level players have game sense. It's one of the main components to their success, and having a high game sense results in less deaths. And one of the number one things I try to teach, one of the main tips, the main tip above all, is to control your gunfights. Make them play your game, you do not play their game. And for a player to have a complete game, there's a lot of things that go into that. Gun skill, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, but game sense is right up there at the top with becoming a complete player. And there's a lot of examples that we're going to go over today, but before we start talking about them kind of going off one-on-one, let's give a couple clear-cut ones so we can have a better understanding of what game sense is and the goal we're trying to achieve. In these couple scenarios, we can come right on back to with some other things that we're talking about because it all applies. And we're going to kind of talk about it in depth. It's going to be long and drawn out, but in reality, in-game, the overall result is kind of known instantly. So say it's mid-game, you're playing against a Striker, Sunbreaker, Dawnblade, and an Arcstrider. You look at the heavy ammo on the other side and it goes away, and at the bottom it says, whatever the gamer tag, PSN, loaded a shotgun. You process, they have a shotgun, or maybe if you have a talkative party, you might hear, hey, they just got a shotgun, watch out for it. It's pretty basic, we hear that all the time, but how that should really go down is you see player A, player Y, loaded a shotgun. You should know exactly who that is, and the easiest way to quickly differentiate in Destiny is class and armor. So let's make this a little bit fun, let's make this easy. Say the gamer tag for the Hunter Arcstrider is CoolGuy, the gamer tag for the Warlock Dawnblade is Fallout, and the gamer tag for the Striker Titan is Cammy. The gamer tag for the Titan Sunbreaker is Pro Sniper Dome Piece 99132. So a first step is to really start to know your enemies. And if you haven't done this before, it might seem difficult, it might seem like a waste of time or pointless, but it's definitely not. This is going to up your game sense. You know that they have two Titans, a Warlock and a Hunter. So if you know that the Hunter is CoolGuy, and it says at the bottom right of the screen, CoolGuy loaded a shotgun, that's the call out. That gives you and your team exact information. And you can tell the Hunter has the shotgun. But let's say we have the two Titans, Cammy and Pro Sniper Dome Piece 99132. You see on the screen that Cammy loads the shotgun, you see the gamer tag, and in-game the Striker armor is blue and the Sunbreaker is red. You know this because you've identified them already by abilities, grenades, supers. The blue Titan threw you a pulse grenade earlier, so you know that he's the Striker, and you can tell your team, think to yourself, the blue Titan has the shotgun. So that's very exact, you know, kind of processing all the information that you've gone through with the game. You can kind of help plan out your next steps. And say the two Titans were the same color, then you start going by armor, things like that. But it's very important, because when you start getting into engagements and you see the enemy team is pushing you, you see the Warlock, he's coming down a lane, but right behind him is that blue Titan. You know exactly what that Titan has and his intent, and you know exactly what he wants to do. You can use all this information to your advantage. Another example is keeping track of supers. So let's go with the same game that we're playing right now. This is the same team. You do have your super, your Arcstrider. You want to go on a flank. That's fine and all. You know that the Striker Titan has a smash though. So when you're on your flank and you decide to use that super, say you're baiting power ammo, the blue Titan is your real threat right there. So you can go from target to target, but once you see that blue Titan, you should know exactly what he's trying to do. It's the only thing that can really counter you. So maybe you can start your push, move a little bit closer to him, know that that smash is coming, and possibly bait it out. Game sense is multiple skills. It's having an idea of knowing what's going to happen before it even happens. So with everything that we're getting ready to talk about, this kind of use the same theoretical scenario with the two Titans, the Hunter and the Warlock, as we go through these. It's things like, again, keeping track of the supers. Possibly you could press select really quickly to see if they have any up. So if you go on a flank, you're going to know if you have any resistance going in with that super. If not, who you should avoid, who you should focus on. It's things like that. Possibly you know that they get rockets, and predicting what lane that guy with the rocket is getting ready to come with. It's looking at where the box is in relation to all the action that's going on, the most likely outcome of where he's getting ready to go. Say you're a guy down, they have no supers, it's a 4v3, it's knowing when to push in right there, or it's knowing when to run away. It's things like target priority. Say that there's going to be a guy that he really likes to get close to your team. He has an SMG. Now his other three teammates use scout rifles. That guy with the SMG is constantly trying to get position, gain position to get close to you. So if you see him moving in, your team can focus him down and cut off those lanes from the scout users and focus down the shotgun SMG guy. Because players have habits and you can see their tendencies and use it against them. You can exploit those bad habits, exploit over-aggressiveness, over-passiveness, things like that. And when someone is too aggressive or too passive, you can kind of formulate a plan and then execute it. Like say you're on Midtown, they grab a shotgun, and we talked about this earlier. Now you don't see the player immediately within the first few engagements, so you start thinking about how long a rotation is going to be for him to get around the map to get to you. Which path would he take? And when he does, what lane would he be coming from? It's things like this. You can pay attention to loadout. Say an enemy is running a hand cannon and an SMG. You know that his mid to long game is going to struggle, it's going to have issues, so you can make him get into those engagements with you and make him uncomfortable. And you don't push him because you don't want to be in range, you're going to just constantly exploit that. Your potential to higher level play is going to be unlocked through improving your game sense, outplaying your opponents, not just with gun skill. So start paying attention to your surroundings and start finding the answers. You see your surroundings, you process them, you have a plan, and then you execute it. All of it happens within seconds. You build up that game sense, and it seems simple. And this topic seems really simple, but it's something that you have to work on. It applies in every single game, every second that you're playing. It's a building block of everything we do for player growth. I would like to thank you guys for watching my first Crucible Tips series for Destiny 2, and I hope that there was something you can gain from it. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are of the topic today. Please remember to rate the video, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.